Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about my Criterion Collection update. I remember doing one very long time ago when it was, I think I've done two, and one time it was at like four titles, and then next time it was at like seven. It's certainly more than seven titles now, and I can't wait to get into it and show you all what my collection is looking like now. Because the Criterion Collection, as we all know, if you're collectors of physical media, not everyone's interested in Criterion, because they do release a lot of films that are not popular. They're not like mainstream big blockbusters, and they're not like renowned. They're not all of them are renowned for like being the film of the 70s or the 80s or whatnot. But I mean, once you take your time and you sort of look into their catalog, you'll find films that you know, just like what's the word, just has been with you your whole life. You'll recognize names, and certainly what it boasts is the acting caliber. That's, I think, that what goes for it a lot, and certainly like the filmmakers that they pick to have their films on, like the filmographies. Um, so I'll just show you a few of these titles, and you might even be compelled to get one yourself, or yeah, right. And these are all in like I'm going to show you and by like the oldest film in my collection to the newest Criterion release. Not in terms of when Criterion released it, but in terms of when the film was made. Right? Okay. So His Girl Friday. His Girl Friday, one of my favorite films of all time. Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell. It's a comedy. It's known for being arguably one of the first films to ever sort of there was a time, because this is 1940, so there was a time before the 40s where characters would like speak and then stop and then let the other character speak, but then this film sort of like accelerated all that, made it all sort of like very fanatic, very fast paced. It sort of contributes to the comedy between like the couple that are split up here and end up working in an office, and then like all the madness that ensues. So it really contributes to being like a really like fast paced. It must have been really popular at the time for doing what it did. Yeah, that's His Girl Friday. The Samurai trilogy. I remember picking this up in an Amazon Prime deal. It's a trilogy of films, which is great to have in one set. These are from the 50s. Hour and a half to an hour and 40 each, and they all seem to be in color, which is really interesting, right? Being from the 50s. Yeah, the Samurai trilogy, can't say much about it, but I'm happy to have it in the collection. Okay, next up. What a release. What a film. Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. Really nice case. It's like a media book, but it's really protected nicely by this sort of like, it's obviously not strong, but really nice. Feel like it just, look at it, it's lovely. Little like protective sleeve, and yeah, well, things are falling out because you get a booklet and whatnot. You get two discs. On the Waterfront is for me, it's one of the greatest films ever made. I mean, Marlon Brando does such a great job, and I don't go very long in my life without thinking about the scene at the end when there's a commotion on the docks. That's all I'll say if you haven't seen it. But yeah, that scene has stuck with me. It's quite a long scene, but that scene has stuck with me my whole life. I saw that film when I was very young on the TV, and yeah, for that scene alone, I was sort of compelled to have this film, the Criterion, and I knew the Criterion Collection would treat it well. There's a host of special features and whatnot. This is a really important film. I guess it's like it even sort of resonates with us today in our contemporary setting, with like the whole strikes that are going on in Hollywood with like people's pay, and because there's a scene in here where like people were this is set in America, by the way. It's black and white from 1954, and there's a scene where like men have to like almost beg and be chosen to work for the day. Imagine a time when there's a bunch of like dudes, hardworking dudes that are looking to make a living, literally like a living, literally eat bread for that day if they can get to work. And there's people standing in front of the factories choosing heads and then discarding one day and then letting them work the next day. And these guys having to, like, crime syndicates can grow from that, and giving out tokens so that they can bring that token to the employer. And it's it's a remarkable film, and not only like great film, but like important, right? That reflects the real world, the Western world certainly. Sancho the Bailiff, it's still security protected. Um, Sancho the Bailiff, I heard great things. Is it it's black and white. It's from 1954. 2 hours long. Japanese film with English subtitles. I haven't seen it, so I can't actually say much about it. But I'm sure this is like inspired. This inspired that dude. From the new John Wick 4, there's the blind guy, and he can bust people up even though he's blind. I think that was partly inspired by a lot of tales like of blind assassins and warriors have been inspired by Sancho the Bailiff. I could be getting that story mixed up. Might not even be this film, but I've heard Sancho the Bailiff is pretty cool, and it's a Japanese samurai film, so I had to have it. Next up, 12 Angry Men. Again, one of the greatest films ever made. Black and white, 1957, 96 minutes. This is like something that they teach in schools and universities, I think. I've seen this a few times from being a child, and then now on the Criterion Collection. It's a remarkable film. It's I probably don't need to say much about it, but yeah, it's great for like having all these characters interact with each other in an isolated area for a whole film, and then obviously the plot's really important too. Next up, it's a mad world. Mad world. Really fun. Watched it a few times on the telly. It's like madcap, adventurous. They're all racing to find this money. The ending's really clever. It gets a bit bombastic. Didn't think that was going to go there with that ending. Some of the things that happens, outlandish stuff. It's a comedy. Watch this if you're feeling like lifting your spirits up. Lord of the Flies. Wow, this is another film that they teach in schools. 1963, 90 minutes, black and white. There's a theme here, right? So like I said, with the Criterion Collection, you've got a lot of films from, nearly 100 years ago. You've got black and white. There's a lot of that going on. But these are all like really important films and great stories, right? And the filmmaking, I can't, other people will be able to speak more on the filmmaking because they know more about that stuff. But technically, these films are wonderful as well, and impressive. Yeah, Lord of the Flies. I mean, I read the book and then I picked this up like immediately after to see and then it's like this is one of the most faithful book to film adaptations ever. But like that's the one time that I really didn't want it to be, because I was watching it, I was thinking, wow, this is just so ripped from the pages that like I kind of felt like I didn't need it, because I just read the book, and the book is a really great experience. So yeah, but if you haven't read the book, definitely watch Lord of the Flies. Next up, one of my favourite films of all time. This is we're now in the 80s. This is The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club by John Hughes is something else. It's for all the loners out there. It's for all the cool kids. It's for all the smokers. It's for all the. This is like an amalgamation of all the different. I say all, not all the different, but like it hits the sort of like popular sort of like spectrums of who you are in school, and like if you're the pyromaniac or the guy that's got problems at home that turns into a bully at school, and it has such an amazing just like beginning, middle, and end. How they're fighting, but they get together, and it doesn't ever get like very it's not trying to like be bolder than what it is and try and like expand the plot into like, oh my god, the school's getting taken over by an evil corporation that wants to make a shopping mall, and it's nothing like that. It's more so to do with these children and those children expressing themselves when otherwise they wouldn't be able to, just in the school corridors. That's The Breakfast Club. That is a must watch. This is a recent purchase from Criterion. This is the Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I recently picked up another film from Terry Gilliam, Time Bandits. Yeah, I'm just looking to get a lot of his films because he makes such dreamlike, wonderful films. And I tell you what, I won't say much about this because I've actually done a video on this, but you see all these like CGI films nowadays with like speedsters, people that have the ability to run super fast, and I never really like how it's done. My favorite depiction of someone running at supersonic speed is in this, and it's wonderful. I'm forgetting the dude's name, but he's in one of my favorite films. The guy who actually Eric, yeah, your man Eric Idle. I think he's the dude that runs, and just the way it's shown, this is just wonderful filmmaking. It really is. Okay, next up now, another special thing about the Criterion collection is they really obviously love Wes Anderson, because they've got like almost all of Wes Anderson's filmography. They haven't got the one about the dogs, Isle of Dogs, and they haven't obviously got the French Dispatch, and obviously they haven't got the new one, the Wes Anderson's new film Astro, or his latest 2023 outing anyway. They haven't got those three. They've got a bunch of his other ones, and it would be very foolish of me not to own them, right? I haven't got all of them, but the Royal Tenenbaums is one. That's both a really good cast. Angelica Houston, Gene Hackman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Stiller, and probably like his other actors that always work with him. This is one of his best films. This is one of my favorites. Children dealing with their upbringing, even though they're adults, and it's really good, really good. Wes Anderson again, The Life Aquatic. This was probably, obviously it wasn't the first Wes Anderson film I saw, but when I started exploring him, this would have been, I think this was the third film of Wes Anderson I saw. The Life Aquatic is really good. Your man Bill Murray puts in a wonderful performance as the lead. Yeah, it's really fun. I believe this was the second Wes Anderson film I saw, and this is the Darjeeling Limited. People have, there's a mixed reception for this. Other people sort of like don't rate it as much, and then other people see like the sort of like the spirituality and the sort of journey that the characters go on and relate to it. I certainly do. The Darjeeling Limited is wonderful. His usual cast is in this. Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, Angelica Houston's even in there. She may be their mum. They go on this journey to India. Is it to bury someone, or they just go on a journey after I think their father passes or whatnot. And like the experiences that they have whilst on train and in India is very it's very good for the soul and good for moving on from traumatic experiences. Yeah, and then you've even got your man Owen Wilson. He's wrapped up in his mad bandages and stuff when you first see him. It's really funny. Okay, now one of my favourite films of all time, and certainly my favourite Wes Anderson film, that is Fantastic Mr. Fox. Easy. It's mind blowing. I cannot get over this film, honestly, guys. I really couldn't. And like I would have been so upset if I did not collect this and it went out of print. Because there's another film, Bringing Up Baby. I'm real badly looking for that. So like sometimes, guys, when you feel the urge to buy a film and sometimes you can't wait because they might go out of print, especially with these boutique labels. They're not just getting made for the fun of it. So yeah, that's a Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it's I love this film. I adore this film. It's so funny. It's just amazing. Now the last film in my Criterion collection, The Grand Budapest Hotel, another Wes Anderson film. My final Wes Anderson film that I have. So you can see that I'm still missing a few. Bottle Rocket, Kingdom, something about the kingdom with the kids in the summer camp. So there's two. There may even be a third. But yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. Surely this is like his biggest earner. surely it's his biggest earner at the box office. This like really made everyone aware of Wes. If they didn't know him before, they knew him for this. You've got Saoirse Ronan in here. You've got Ralph Fiennes, um, Tony Rivellori. You've Willem Dafoe. The cast just goes on and on and on and on. People just love working with Wes because I just love the way Wes films something because he understands that the audience are watching a film. He understands that he's making a film and he doesn't have to. I can't really put it into words right now, but like the way it's like he works in conjunction with his audience and he makes it so beautiful and with all the pastel colours and the story and this is really great. And then when like they're escaping and it goes into like, what do you call it? The same animation that's like Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, when they're running away and he does all these funny little quirky things that are just so Wes Anderson. And if anyone else did it, you'd be like, wow, that reminds me of Wes. Grand Budapest Hotel is tremendous. Definitely recommend it. Comes in a really, really nice slip box there as well to protect it. Nice real colours as well, like pink on a spine, this like light blue stuff. Director approved by Wes Anderson. That's the Criterion Collection so far. Thank you.